Matt Parnell, Kenan Harkin here at the 2002 Gravity Games. We expect to see over 200,000 people come out. Right now in the mix of freestyle motocross prelims, Travis Pastrana has never lost a freestyle motocross event and has pulled a backflip in practice. Will we see it?
Oh, yes, look at that. Going for the tsunami. Completely vertical on the bike.
And
look at this, lands one-handed. Travis is certainly someone that goes out there and really blazes through the course. Nice switchblade, no foot of can-can, really swiveled around. Here is someone who has a gift on that bike, completely comfortable. As you mentioned, never lost a freestyle motocross competition. One-handed seat grab.
Watch Travis in the corners, just pinning it, just brings it around so quick.
Certainly the racing background. And at such a young age, he truly is. Uh-oh.
Here we go. Travis Pastrana, there it is.
Yes!
Travis Pastrana, the first backflip at Gravity Games
competition. We saw Carey Hart do it in 2000. He did not ride away, but then that showed the possibilities of this sport. Now Travis, riding away from backflips, has changed the sport completely, and another backflip.
A second backflip from Travis Pastrana. Making it look so easy.
And that is fantastic. Oh, look at this cliffhanger to nothing. Just really showing you how fast this sport has progressed. Travis, a big fan of bicycle freestyle, trains on, as many of these other athletes do, they train on BMX. Travis really just pushing the sport.
The last jump from Travis Pastrana, and that is going to do it. You have just witnessed yet again history at Gravity Games. Travis Pastrana pulling the first ever backflip in competition. And this is just the prelims. So the floodgates of progression open up yet again here at Gravity Games in its fourth year. And Travis Pastrana, what a way to start. 92.5 on that prelim run. Most likely we will see him in the finals coming up in 2 weeks, but looking back on the run.
Oh yeah, some people think that he's just white knuckling it, but there is no way. This guy is so consistent with these tricks, with these backflips. You can see him actually downshift. I mean, that just goes to show you how much control he's got over the bike. Watch his right foot again. He comes in second gear, and then there, boom, all buttoned up and ready for the prom.
Right now, let's go up on the deck with Rachel Perry.
So Travis, didn't take you long to pull out the backflip, not to mention two.
Well, it's pretty good. Actually, I've been working at home a lot on the no-handed backflip, and I've never done one over dirt, and I've never done one that's 56 foot long. Generally, just 10-foot step-ups have been very nice for me, but hopefully we'll be able to get it. I know Metzger's pulling them out, and Kenny Bartram, heck, he's awesome on his trick, so it's going to be a tough comp either way.
So what do you got for us next?
Next? I don't know. Shoot.
Back to you, Pat.
Such a humble pioneer. Travis Pastrana, the question is, what is next?
Well, it's unbelievable just what he's done here today, but he was talking about no-handed flips. He's even talking about double backflips and 360 backflips on a dirt bike. And you know what? If today is a testament to the mind and will of Travis Pastrana, I'm sure that he'd be able to do it.
We'll do it in his second run.
Well, now that he's qualified, I mean, you know what? His second run can become kind of a tester. He's already practiced at home the no-handed backflip. Why not try it in the competition?
On course right now, Drake McElroy.
You know what? Drake McElroy doing the corpse, a trick he invented. A corpse for the dead body. That's what they like to call that one.
Interesting story about Drake McElroy. While practicing for a tour that's going to be going across America later this fall, Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Huck Jam, jumped an entire half pipe and went into metal girding. Actually had to have his jaw wired shut for over a month. For such great extension, whether it be the Ted Foddy or any Superman variation.
Even with that Cordova, he really does Extend those tricks well, Pat. And he's been on such a roll, even in advanced Triple Crown events all year. He's really been coming into his own. He was a rookie pro last year, but not this year. He's now a veteran, and he hits his tricks back-to-back. Very important. That's what the judges are looking for.
You talk about the judges after seeing Travis pulling the backflip, a trick that Drake does not have in his repertoire. You know, it's going to be interesting to see those scores and how they're going to vary.
Great double grab Indian air. And it's funny now that we look at a guy like Drake, you mentioned the backflip and he not possessing it. You know, you start to say, is this a traditional type FMX rider? And I think it's almost an oxymoron, a traditional FMX rider. Come on, look what these guys are still able to do.
And that is going to do it for Drake McElroy. All in all, so many tricks packed into that run and great variety. Very little repetition.
Oh yeah, here is a trick he invented. It's called the corpse or the dead body. And it's just a bar hop that is completely extended. He gets horizontal. And here, a double grab, Indian air, scissoring his legs. Very good execution, bringing it back down to Mother Earth without any catastrophe. Good job.
Drake McElroy score a 79, and as we anticipated, a little bit lower because absent from his run, the back flip. You saw Travis Pastrana pull a first in Gravity Games competition with his back flip, but there's still yet another rider to go who has the ability. We saw him pull the backflip in practice. It is none other than this gentleman, the godfather of freestyle motocross, Mike Metzger. His run yet to come.
Mike Metzger's lifestyle. I make my living throughout the year pretty much being Mike Metzger, being who I want to be.
Mike Metzger, quite a contrast when you compare him to Travis Pastrana, but with such good reason. He has given so much to the sport. In fact, earlier this week we saw him the first ever to pull a backflip in practice here at Gravity, and kind of a luck of a draw. He actually pulled the backflip before Travis did prior to the Gravity Games.
And he pulled it over a gap. He woke up early one morning around 7 o'clock. He's out there in the dunes in California, brought a ramp out, set the ramp up, fired out some backflips over a gap. I spoke with him earlier today, and he said he did the backflip to further his career, not to end it. And he plans on doing one today. I'm going out on the limb. You're going to see a big backflip from Mike. Going for a double Saran, only gets one. And he's going to make us wait for that backflip. Also, what's dangerous is these lips are getting chopped up later on in this competition. That is the difficulty with dirt. As riders go off, the lips become less and less like they were in practice. They start to crumble in this dry weather.
Not only do the transitions and the jumps crumble, but as I was mentioning, the dryness of the dirt, it gets so slick. Here we go!
Here we go! Beautiful!
Mike Metzger, textbook on that.
He has got such a great style with his flips. His body is in such a perfect position. And here goes a different transfer. Not quite getting what he wanted to off that one. But with the backflip, it's almost a sure bet we're going to see him in the finals. Oh, the McMets, that's his own trick. It's a bar hop to double Saran on the way out.
You saw him, he got a little hung up on that. Such great reaction time from Metzger. Able to bring it around.
He has got such an exciting style. Last year's Gravity Games comes out, just gets loose. Everyone loves watching this guy ride.
There it is, again.
Oh, no way, a no-footer.
No.
That's a first in competition, a no-footed backflip. Yeah, get back on, get back.
But this is what Mike Metzger can do. He gets so energized,
yes.
he can push it too far.
There's no such thing as too far here at the Gravity Games. Metzger just making this run a historic one. Look at this.
Well, when I say too far, he just continues to up the level.
Oh, man, free falling out of that trick. Didn't look like he was going to get back on, Pat. Metzger always rides by the seat of his pants. Look at that! Look at the height!
Oh! Metzger goes down! Clears the entire landing on that backflip attempt. And a dose of reality, a subtle dose at that, the fact that he's standing after falling on a backflip.
Pat, those bikes are 220 pounds. He's over 30 feet in the air when he's upside down. You don't have to be a genius to figure out that that's not exactly a safe thing to do, and he got away, luckily, from that crash.
That's the first second-gear backflip I've ever tried. That was second, dude, I landed it flat.
And Pat, there you hear it, his first second gear, that's why he cleared that landing, got way too much on the throttle.
Little one-upmanship from Mike Metzger there, wanting to do it in second. His score, a 91. And looking at the leaderboard after the first runs, no surprise who's way up top. The two riders pulling backflips, Travis Pastrana and Mike Metzger. Remember, the top 10 riders will advance to the finals. The second run's yet to come. Will we see even more progression here from Gravity?
And Pat, look at how many people are jammed in here to see motocross. It has certainly come such a long way from its humble beginnings just 4 short years ago with the first organized contest.
You are looking at the current leader after the first runs of 2, Travis Pastrana. He set the tone very high, 92.5. You saw it go down, the back flip. You saw Metzger do it. Question is he going to play it safe? He's already made his way into the finals, locked up at this point. But this is his second and final run here in the Freestyle Motocross Prelims. Look at that!
Yes!
One-footed on that!
There's no such thing as playing it safe for Travis Pastrana. Always likes to go out and give the crowd what they came to see. Whoa, check it out, Pat! Taking a handoff. Could he be experimenting with a no-hander?
Absolutely, that is so much in Travis Pastrana's makeup, his personality. And right now, he's merely taking laps, trying to get these flips dialed in.
A no-footer.
Gets both feet off on that flip this time.
I think he's going through the motions here right now with these flips, getting himself set up, building up his confidence for the final. And look at this, combining tricks. A no-footer to one-hander.
And at this point, Travis Pastrana, as we mentioned, locked up for the finals. We'll see what goes down there in 2 weeks' time here at Gravity. But just a barrage of inverted flips.
Right now, he's definitely having a problem getting both hands to come off at one time.
And a favorite trick of Travis Pastrana is the big tsunami. Almost getting over the bars in the kiss of death position. But as you mentioned, always aware of the crowd. This run, for the most part, for the crowd and for the experimental sake of trying to get that flip dialed in.
Yeah, he's not just going out doing flips for no reason. He's going out doing them because he wants to get that no-handed flip for the finals.
That will do it for Travis Pastrana, just foreshadowing what might go
I don't think that's going to do it. He wants another flip after time.
And yet even more. But you will be seeing Travis Pastrana come the finals in 2 weeks. Kenan, I'd love to know the workings, the inner workings of Travis Pastrana's mind.
That'd probably be a scary place to be in if you weren't prepared. On the outside, he looks like a mild-mannered young man, but he's got the Clark Kent Superman personality. It's the alter ego when he gets on that bike.
First score, 92.5.
Wow.
6.0.
I love the judging.
So even with the repetitive aspect of that run, he gets a higher score. Amazing.
I was expecting a 50 actually, but okay guys, here's what you gotta do. You gotta go around in circles and do backflips the whole time. It's not what I expected on the score, but that was a throwaway run. Cool. Justin liked it.
I think a lot of those riders would love to be able to do backflips. But still another rider to take his second run, the Godfather, Mike Metzger. What will he bring to the table second time around? We'll see.
Keep smiling a bit, Kenny. You're lucky you got a helmet on, because those people would be scared if you smiled at them.
Along with Kenan Harkin here in the first of 8 weeks of Gravity Games coverage and the second runs of the qualifiers of Freestyle Motocross. There is Mike Metzger. Earlier you saw him pull the backflip, and this is his second run in qualifiers. Top 10 will make it into the finals. You'll see that in 2 weeks.
And it doesn't appear that Mike is going to throw away his run the same way Travis did. There's a big backflip.
Right on the top of that landing. It's amazing to see that one that he first tried the second gear flip, how far he went.
He overshot that landing, that's right. I love the line he takes through the course.
We call it the Ocotillo Wells influence. A lot of these guys, when they ride out on the trails, has such a variety of lines.
And he gets into some trouble. You're a dead sailor, and he comes up short.
A dead sailor, a definite bad thing when you're talking about freestyle motocross. That's when you go up for a trick and do absolutely nothing. But a little bit more variety we're seeing out of Mike Metzger than that what we saw out of Travis Pastrana on his second run.
And he knows he's already qualified as well, and so he's just taking the opportunity to work out some kinks in his run. Oh, and a late no-footer, almost all the way around before he takes his feet off.
And a Saran-to-Saran. Combination tricks abound nowadays in freestyle motocross, and the flips are looking almost commonplace. It's a scary thought.
And here we are only in the prelims. We're getting, I'm not bored of them, but definitely used to seeing them from these two riders.
Who would have thought, 2 years ago when Carey Hart first attempted the backflip in Gravity Games competition, that you would be seeing flips thrown down so comfortably.
Well, the sport, considering it started in '98, the first organized event, has really come a long way in the last 5 years.
Progressing at a lightning pace. And Mike Metzger, that is going to do it for his second run here in the qualifiers. We're guaranteed to see him come the finals in 2 weeks. It's the little quarter pipe side there. What a champion. Kenan, it's no mystery why Mike Metzger is considered the vanguard of freestyle motocross. When you think about the first rider ever to be featured on a cover of a motocross magazine, doing what he does here today, and that was so many years before the first organized event. A battle indeed. Mike Metzger, the last rider of the day here in the Freestyle Motocross qualifiers. His second run score a little bit lower, 89. No matter, we will see Mike Metzger along with the other 9 riders who will advance to the finals come 2 weeks. On the top of the list, Travis Pastrana. Right now, Rachel Perry's with our leader on the deck.
Travis, 6 in one run. 6 backflips in one run. You're making it look too easy.
Well, actually, with that run, I was just going out there just to kind of wing it and just. Metzger got cheered. He did 3 and I only did 2, so I had to do more flips and did some variations, some switch hand stuff like that, no footed, and I actually got a lot higher score than I thought I did. And I'm sure we're going to make some changes in the judging too.
Yeah, do you think that they're going to take into consideration that you can do 6, and maybe judge you against yourself?
Well, actually, that was kind of the goal. I mean, a lot of my good friends, Kenny Bartram, Drake McElroy, these guys are actually putting in better runs than Metzger or myself, and they're getting judged lower because the backflip is just, there's only 5 people in the world that have ever done one, and it's a crazy trick. So they're saying to the other guys, you need to do a backflip, but there's a high possibility to get hurt doing it right away in the competition. So I don't know. We'll talk to the judges, hopefully get a little closer, but I like that edge, so it's good for now.
Oh, good luck, all right?
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Welcome back, everyone, to a gorgeous day here in Cleveland, Ohio in the 2002 Gravity Games. Standing room only. Well, if you're lucky, you get seats like this. Andy McDonald here at the FMX Finals.
Yeah, and you see Biker Sherlock also sitting on the rail. They're calling it the Buddy Lee Suite Seats, and I have to agree, you can see everything from that vantage point.
Right now, looking back at the prelim results with Pastrana and Metzger on top, and you got to ask yourself, how important is a backflip to the judges? On Travis Pastrana's second prelim run, he pulled 6 backflips, purely for his and the crowd's enjoyment.
Let's see how much fun Travis has. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Travis Pastrana at his best right now. Travis's first score, a 92.5. The second run score, a 96.0 for Travis Pastrana.
I love the judging. I was expecting a 50, actually. But... Okay, guys, here's what you gotta do. You gotta go around in circles and do that the whole time. It's not what I expected on the score, but that was a throwaway run. Cool. Dustin liked it.
A backflip means a lot to a run. I mean, we're trying to take it into perspective up here in the booth that with just a backflip, I mean, that's great. That's progression of the sport, but you can't win the comp with just a backflip and some sketchy tricks.
They're still going to have to link a good run together with other tricks and good fluidity, good control. They just can't come out and do a backflip and win the contest.
My job is to be a freestyle judge, and the discipline is style for me. Not just what they do in the air, but like how they're coming in and out of corners and how long they're holding their tricks. That's also going to be a factor.
Backflip from either Travis or Metzger is usually going to be followed by a pretty sick run, so take that into consideration. If they throw it, podium spots could be.
It's a whole new level for this sport.
That's just awesome. I mean, what else can you say? Look at everyone's face.
Filled to capacity to the water's edge here in Cleveland, Ohio for the 2002 Gravity Games. Freestyle motocross fans right now about to meet the top 2 qualifiers here in FMX Finals.
Hailing from Menifee, California, the Godfather, Mike Metzger. And from Annapolis, Maryland, your #1 qualifier, the Wonder Boy, Travis Pastrana.
So the anxiously anticipated Freestyle Motocross Finals about to begin.
Ready to go. Almost. Kind of. Sort of. Maybe. Hopefully. Possibly.
A very relaxed Travis Pastrana. Good reason he is the top qualifier. We will be seeing him later on. In fact, the last rider here in the finals. But right now, our first up, Dustin Miller. Each of these riders get 2 runs. The best run will count. Interesting thing about Dustin, 5'5", not a big size guy when you talk about negotiating such a heavy bike.
Yeah, but what actually happens is Dustin is able to negotiate it because the bike becomes so stable. Its weight allows him to push off, and look at how he can pull himself back on the bike. And Dustin really known for his can-can variations, his switchblade variations, and he really twists his body around magnificently. Nice double grab heart attack.
Ken, he's also known as an incredibly raw talent, part of the new breed of riders. That meaning he does well in other competitions. In fact, the 2001 IFMA overall points champion.
Well, you know what, Pat? Most of these guys also compete all year long on wooden and metal ramps in some of the arena tours. The Gravity Games is the only course that is entirely made out of dirt. And I know that sounds strange because we're talking about dirt bikes, but what happens is because of those dirt lips, they tend to break down as the competition wears on. So you really have to be a fantastic motocross rider to adapt. A nice lazy boy. He's doing a great job out here today.
All these riders also forced to adapt to a little bit smaller of a course compared to the one we saw in Providence. This year's course, 150 feet by 260. But still forcing these guys to stay technical, kind of pin it in the corners.
And it's also much bigger than what they're used to throughout most of the year. Certainly the biggest course that they get to ride all year long as opposed to the arena tours they do. And you can see here, just taking a very original line through the course, that's something the judges are going to keep an eye out for. Yes!
Yeah, those hip tramps are actually 40 to 60 feet in distance.
Another thing the judges are looking for is going back-to-back with tricks. Pat, Dustin has been doing that. They don't want to see you get lost out there. They want to see a well-planned run and going back-to-back with some of the more difficult tricks. And that's going to do it for Dustin Miller. And I mentioned earlier, Dustin is really able to use that bike kind of as a weight. Watch this. He gets the double grab heart attack, and he's able to pull himself back to the bike easier than if the bike was being moved around by a bigger rider.
So Dustin Miller, our first rider up, sets the tone for the FMX finals, a 77. Now for a rider they affectionately refer to as Ren Dog. It's Ronnie Renner, I think one of the most colorful guys in the sport.
I think so. You're always going to see something original out of him, whether it's on or off his bike. And right off the bat, Pat, taking a sharp right turn to get into the middle of the course. Opens up with a Shaolin. And again, another sharp turn, a left hand. This time he's going in through the middle of the jumps.
Opts for the creative hip transfer on that.
You got to remember, he's got to squeeze as many tricks in during that time limit.
But once again, each of these riders, 2 runs in the finals. The best run counts.
Another Shaolin, repeating tricks.
Ronnie Renner, also known for his step-up abilities. In fact, he is the WFA 2002 step-up champion. You see step-up later on at Gravity, another discipline of freestyle motocross.
Pat, he has been on tour for 30 weeks straight this year, sometimes doing 2 shows a week. It's got to take its toll on a rider.
But always such a crowd pleaser. I mean, it's one thing Ronnie Renner's known for. He's able to work a crowd up, get way back on the lazy boy.
And that's his signature move.
The stripper. I call it, 2 tricks in one. It's got half bar hop, half Cordova. Great extension on that. Big tsunami.
Look at how far he is from that Superman, kind of whipping the bike out in the process also.
And Ronnie Renner started off with a very unique line at the beginning of the run.
Big sterilizer!
Ends up very big, up and over the barrier, Ronnie Renner. Great first run from Ronnie Renner. And this is the showman we were talking about.
Oh, definitely. and you see Doug Parsons really enjoys the show as well. And here we are, the stripper. It's a trick he invented. I don't know where he got the inspiration for that, but it is kind of a cross between a Cordova and a bar hop. And here's the sterilizer, aptly named. I don't think you have to have much of an imagination to figure out why they call it that. And he does get the boost off of the berm here. Luckily, we have some nice Bermuda grass hay for him to land in. And one more time, Robbie Renner with his B-boy skills, doing the worm for everyone.
All right, the electric boogaloo Ren Dog, Ronnie Renner, his first run score.
I was more of a Beat Street guy myself.
Yeah, well, we'll try to get this Soul Train back on the track when the Freestyle Motocross Finals continue from Cleveland. The groundbreaking performance at the Gravity Games, Travis Pastrana, along with Mike Metzger, getting inverted during Freestyle Motocross Prelims.
Beautiful!
Carey Hart is a hero of almost everyone that's in the industry just because he didn't know what was going to happen. He never tried over foam, he never tried into the water, he just flipped.
Second gear, 30 feet up, land a flat. Guy's a wild man. Bob Cole, I think, was probably the first guy to do a backflip on a motorcycle. I remember seeing him, like, while I was growing up, being a little kid, seeing him do backflips on a CR80.
A guy named Caleb Wyatt, he went out and he tried into a mulch pile, and they tried into a manure pile because the mulch hurt too bad. Well, he dove straight in a manure pile about 10 times with the bike on top of him, and he finally got it down. And I think without him, not too many other guys would have even have thought about it. It would have been just something that Carey Hart did to this point.
Before Caleb actually landed it, I was talking to him a lot about it, and I don't know, it just finally set into my head, you know, this can be done.
Once I heard Metzger was trying it, I'm like, well, shoot, now I gotta do it. Metzger took a ramp out into the middle of the desert and just hucked himself and crashed and crashed and crashed and crashed. Nate Adams tried it, and he didn't even get close. That was the gnarliest crash I've ever seen in my entire life. Now it just shows you what can go wrong if you don't have everything exactly right.
You gotta have the desire to wanna do it, and you gotta be dedicated because it's something serious.
I honestly believe that if you're not doing backflip 360s, barrel rolls, and backflip no-handers next year, you're not going to be in the competition. I think it's going to be that far advanced from where it is now. And you know, to see a backflip is amazing, but after you see it 5 or 6 times, you're going, you know what? People can do more, and I think that's really where it's going.
You know, listening to Travis speak, a frightening prediction of maybe things to come in this sport. I mean, you got 2 guys doing backflips in the finals, Travis along with Mike Metzger, and I mean, to think that it could go to such a place that Travis is talking about.
Well, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see more riders do the backflip more consistently. They're going to risk more just so that they can get back up on that podium because there is such a separation. And then the next thing that's going to happen is what Travis was talking about. I've seen it firsthand in BMX. We didn't think backflips were possible there, and now you have double backflips, 360 backflips. So I'm in agreement with Travis.
On course right now on his first run of 2 in the finals, Tommy Clowers. He is the bronze medalist from last year's Gravity Games. And it's interesting you talk about Tommy Clowers, you know, rider that's got, you know, a variety of abilities on motocross, whether it be racing, freestyle end, but also step up. A rider that I would think that would be kind of be joining the cause, you know, and pushing the envelope of getting into backflips.
Well, you know, what's funny is by next year, if he does do a backflip, people are going to be saying, well, you know, it's just a normal backflip. And you're going to have Travis or some of the other pioneers doing no-handed flips and things of that nature. So they have to get on the ball really quick if they do not want to be left in the dust.
One thing you can always count on from Clowers is extension of his tricks. You pointed out, I think, at one of the Vans Triple Crown stops, it's almost like he's got ball bearings in his hips.
That's right. It's like my old G.I. Joe figures, swivel hips here. And he's got some Kung Fu grip, too. Nice 9 o'clock knack. And looks like he's taking a different route through the course also. Breaking up his run, getting that hip.
You heard me mention his step-up abilities. Actually has the world record for step-up, 25 feet into the lane. And step-up is almost a FMX way of doing a high jump, limited distance run-up, and these guys actually launch vertically. You'll see it later at Gravity in the Freestyle Motocross Challenge. Way on the back of the bike on the double-hand Superman seat grab.
Watching this run, it's a good run, but it's definitely one that he has been able to do many times before. Really need to see more variety coming out of the Tomcat, but you can see that everything he did was executed perfectly. A nothing can. No hands, no feet, and he brings both of them over to one side of the bike. And here, look at his switchblade, just completely takes that right foot and kicks it up in the air. A lot of momentum coming in on that one. And finally, the lazy boy. You can see how he hangs on with his feet and just throws his hands back.
Great trick punctuation by Clowers, the highest score so far today. Right now, let's go down to Rachel Perry.
Hey, thanks, Pat. You know, unlike the other sports at the Gravity Games, most of these guys have an entire support team behind them. Earlier today, I took a little tour of the pit crew for Travis Pastrana.
My parents are great. I mean, they're probably the best pit crew I have. It definitely is, it's nice to be able to go and walk the track and just show up and your bike's all set.
I want to work with these bikes just to make sure that they are right. And that, to me, is worth working late nights on something I hate doing, just to make sure that when he gets up, he's got a smile on his face and he's ready to go.
While Travis has a huge support team, other riders, well, they're not as fortunate.
A lot of the time I do most of my own work. I'm on the road by myself. My dad's back there working on my bike. I crashed it first thing this morning. Takes a little of the pressure off the tension.
Probably a common oversight of FMX fans is just how much preparation it takes to get into this sport.
Back when I was competing in BMX, the skaters used to think, like, what are you guys doing? You always have to work on those bikes, you get flat tires. But now, after seeing that piece, you have to appreciate just how much work goes into a motocross bike and how important it is. You got to remember how many moving parts are on that. You don't want to stall out. You want a good spark plug.
More importantly, from a safety standpoint.
Exactly.
Up right now, Drake McElroy. Interesting on Drake. Actually was given a bike when he was 1 year old, a little Y Zinger, basically a PW50, had training wheels on it. And by the time he was 3, he was riding a full-on motorcycle.
And Drake, good friends with Dustin Miller, and much like Dustin, came out in 2000 as a rookie pro, really made a name for himself, and now 2 years later, he is one of the top riders on the circuit. But it wasn't very easy for him. I mean, didn't have a lot of deep pockets in his family, had to work as a vet, fed the animals, and that was how he supported his motocross habit.
Drake off to to a good start, though, on this first run of 2. Remember, it is the best run of those 2 that will decide gravity gold here in the Freestyle Motocross Finals. And I'm not sure if you can remember, we were talking about in the Freestyle Motocross Prelims, Drake McElroy, while practicing for a tour that Tony Hawk is doing, the Boom Boom Huck Jam, actually jumped an entire half pipe and went into metal girding, shattered a section of his jaw, had to have it wired shut.
And it's so impressive what they're doing on these bikes. However, you forget the fact that these guys do have a lot of weight, there's a lot of inertia, a lot of forward movement, and when you go down, you definitely go down hard, and usually a body part does end up breaking. And the stripper we're seeing out of Drake McElroy.
And that is going to do it for Drake McElroy. Ends on the cliffhanger. Good variety of tricks from Drake McElroy.
And here's Drake doing a trick he invented. It's called the dead body or the corpse. And you can see it's a bar hop, just very extended. He gets completely horizontal on the bike. And this one, a double grab heart attack. He has a very different style. His back almost breaks. It looks like an invertebrator of some kind.
Drake McElroy scored the highest score we have seen so far, and things are continuing to elevate here from Cleveland. The capacity to the water's edge here in Cleveland, Ohio for the 2002 Gravity Games. Freestyle motocross fans right now about to meet the top 2 qualifiers here in FMX Finals.
Hailing from Menifee, California, the Godfather, Mike Metzger. And from Annapolis, Maryland, your #1 qualifier, the Wonder Boy, Travis Pastrana.
So the anxiously anticipated Freestyle Motocross Finals about to begin. You know what? You talk about subjectivity in these sports, and it's a hard thing to handle when you talk about the backflip, because a 10-point deficit, over 10-point deficit, separated our next rider up, Kenny Bartram, and Travis Pastrana and Mike Metzger.
Well, Kenny has been practicing a backflip, but he has yet to pull one in a competition. And until he does do that, he will be separated from those two riders.
What Kenny Bartram does have is a very frenetic style. You see a lot of combinations, very high energy rider.
Not only that, watch as he goes through the turns, very in control, gets himself out of those turns really quickly. Definite motocross racing background coming into play here on this course.
They're like so many of the FMX riders, the competitors that you see, most of them have that racing background, spent their formative years on a bike racing through the junior leagues.
But not many of those young motocross riders had Guy Cooper, a famous motocross legend, as their uncle, as Kenny does.
We always kind of joke about it. You know, they call him the cowboy. He says it's much more polite than being called a hick, but you know, there's a reason for that. You know, favorite music, Garth Brooks, drives a truck.
A diesel truck,
yeah, a diesel truck. Lives on over 5 acres of farmland. So kind of represents, I'd say, the heart of America.
Yep, Stillwater, Oklahoma's finest. Look at the cliffhanger to no-handed lander. Oh, gets into trouble here. This is unlike Kenny. Usually so good at negotiating corners.
Well, it seemed like he didn't have time to basically come back down on that clutch on the landing. And we talked about the corners in prelims. With these hot temperatures, it gets so slick. And you have only just a couple of seconds.
And here, more trouble. Going down.
Trouble for Kenny Bartram, but this the first of his 2 runs. Most likely a throwaway. Kenny finishing out, clearing gaps up to over 85 feet in length. But some good variety, just ran into a little problem at the end there.
Well, here's where things went wrong. He did that cliffhanger. You can see him lock into the handlebars, but he does not put his hands back on, and you can see you really got to get on the clutch and brake. Didn't have enough time. He sacrificed it because he held those hands off so long. Wanted to go for the points with the no-handed lander. And here, the rock solid flying completely off that bike, and once again gets into more trouble.
And Kenny Bartram's first run score, a 78.5, currently tied for 5th place. He'll look to his second run, but still to ride the top qualifier, Travis Pastrana and Mike Metzger. Backflips will prevail.
Mike Metzger claims a lot of things, and I have all the respect in the world for that guy. He's the one that got me into freestyle. I idolized him one time and still have all the respect in the world for him.
Travis Pastrana, I'm not trying to like disrespect the kid, but he's a man now, and he still acts like a little kid. We're talking about best all-around action sport person. I'm the best. Mike Metzger can be that. I'm sorry. I am the best.
Now, you see this thing about him being the greatest athlete of all time. I'm gonna have to disagree with that a little bit because I think for the most part I got it.
Metzger, a definite talent, a definite innovator, but definitely a very bold personality.
That's what he can claim, the boldest action sports star. But there's a guy from Tahoe by the name of Sean Palmer who not only rides motocross at a pro level, but snowboards, mountain bikes, BMXs. I think he's got it wrapped up as the best action sports star.
Nonetheless, let's get underway. Mike Metzger, his first run of 2 here in the Freestyle Motocross Finals. And as we alluded to, you will see a backflip from Mike Metzger.
And here we go, claiming it.
There it is, a backflip yet again from Mike Metzger.
Even toying with the crowd. Cliffhanger to nothing, really showing, look at it, just the way he turns around on the starting hill has a lot of style.
Well, Ken, we saw it back in the 2000 Gravity Games when, Mike starts to get going on a run. It's this momentum, and he gets so excited, and sometimes he can, self-explode.
Oh, we have definitely seen that happen before. The thing is, I don't want to see him explode when he's throwing backflips. That's not the time.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. I mean, getting hurt on backflips, if that becomes commonplace, the injuries could be so severe compared to, what else could happen in freestyle motocross. Even in that run back in 2000 where he, got so excited at the end, he was able to capture the silver medal. And
again!
Backflip number 2 from Mike Metzger.
That's one trick I don't think the judges mind seeing again.
You'll have to make up a little bit, man. Nail that one.
It definitely still has a sense of freshness to it.
And there's another one of those original tricks, the McMets.
Little look over to the judges. We saw that one jump, though, where he didn't pull a trick. They call it a dead sailor. Definitely will affect his score. But as we pointed out, this the first run of 2 for Mike Metzger.
And Mike just has these backflips so in control. You can tell by his initiation, you can see as he comes down, he knows exactly where he is. He doesn't waste any time. Here's another look. See him get way over the back end of that bike and just hit that throttle. The centrifugal force of that wheel helps pull him around. And the rock solid, some more things that were happening in this run. He really does have a well-rounded run. There was that dead sailor. However, with backflips being thrown in the run, that dead sailor is not going to pull him down too much. But when you're going up against the likes of Travis Pastrana, you need perfection.
Mike Metzger score a 90.5, the highest we've seen so far here today.
Just a tremendous shot here. You can see how many people, they're even sitting on the bike street bleachers facing the other way to watch Travis Pastrana drop in for his first final run.
Well, the word has spread, what went down in prelims with the backflips and all. So here comes the top qualifier coming into the finals, Travis Pastrana.
And even the way he begins his run, you can see the little no-footer as he comes in off the start ramp. And 2 amazing tricks so far, Tsunami and then that no-footed can-can. And a no-footed backflip!
And able to negotiate that tight landing on the backflip too, having to go around that barrier. Such a well-versed rider Pastrana is.
Certainly you can see. We mentioned it on Kenny Bartram's riding. He's a motocross rider. And Travis, he too rides a lot of motocross, a lot of supercross. You can see he gets through these turns just so clean cleanly and set up for his next trick. Well, what are you going to see here? A one-handed backflip.
And we watched him in prelims. He's toying with getting to that no-handed backflip. I'm not sure if we're going to see it. He has a no-footer. And some good creativity. Those Ocotillo wells influence jumps or those hips. About 40 to 50 feet in length.
And Travis Pastrana has a supercross track in his backyard. He's got indoor ramps, indoor foam pits, ramps that they're able to jump into and land in blocks of foam so that they don't get hurt when he practices on his BMX bike. The scary thing is he's building a foam pit for his motocross bike so he can learn more flip variations.
Flip number 3 for Travis Pastrana. Well, you heard in the feature Travis talking about his prediction of where this sport is going to go. Very creative line right there.
Look at that. Right into the takeoff of the middle section.
Such an artist.
Yet another backflip. He must certainly be toying with that no-handed backflip. But something else I got to point out, look at how dusty it is out here. Now, he is the final rider to go in the first round of finals, and you can see this course is dry. Look at how running the takeoff of the backflip jump is. And he does a one-hander to one-hander. Really, such a skilled rider to be adapting to this course in its now degraded state.
And after Travis's run, they will wet down the course for the second runs here in the finals. Remember, the best runs count.
What is going on here? It's after time.
Pastrana, pleasing the crowd.
Exactly, but to be honest, whenever you learn a new trick, and especially a backflip, it's the feeling. That's why you're doing the trick, and there's no better feeling than going upside down. Will he let go of the bars? No, doesn't get it.
And you can see he's thinking about it visibly. When he landed, you can see
he shakes his head. Man, I want that trick. Pace yourself, Travis. He still has one more run. You heard him say they won't come off. I chickened out.
If you call doing a backflip over a 40-foot gap chicken.
Yeah. They call it Turk.
They won't come off, dude. We're locked to the freaking grips. Okay, you're right. That is good.
Well, he starts things out with a tsunami, a fantastic trick. We've seen another rider who actually got hurt with the backflip. Nate Adams pulled that one off a few years ago. And here, the first of his backflips. Look at how long he keeps his feet off for. They're just sailing out there. Gets him back on, no problem at all. And it's amazing for me to think that at the 2000 Gravity Games, Carey Hart attempted it in competition, didn't pull it off. Now we're 2 years later, you got Travis Pastrana and Mike Metzger throwing variations just so consistently with the backflip, and it really hasn't even been a long time since people have actually been doing it. Look, this is a one-handed backflip. You know he wants that no-handed flip. Going to be a lot more difficult to take both hands off. Obviously, you got to hook your feet in there, much like the cliffhanger, but actually you're going to hook your knees in when you're upside down. Travis, just going through his litany of tricks, again, wants to get that no-handed backflip. It does not work out for him, so he instead throws a no-footer at the last possible second. Travis just really blowing minds here at this Gravity Games.
And Travis's mom's reaction after time.
Travis, that's it. Stop.
Even when you ride at Travis's level, you know, your mom gets nervous. And Mike Metzger, a little validation to his main competitor.
What's up, Kenan? Hi, Kenan. How you doing? Kenan?
I think Travis is a little, how you doing, Trav? He's a little excited about the fact he can see us and see him.
Also excited because he just posted the highest score so far today. Mike Metzger now in second place. But remember, it is the best run of 2 that is going to decide gravity gold here today. Here's a look at the current standings. But remember, the second run still to come when we return to the 2002 Gravity Games.
My parents are great. I mean, they're probably the best pit crew I have. It definitely is, it's nice to be able to go and walk the track and just show up and your bike's all set.
I want to work with these bikes just to make sure that they're right. And that, to me, is worth working late nights on something I hate doing, just to make sure that when he gets up, he's got a smile on his face and he's ready to go.
While Travis has a huge support team, other riders, well, they're not as fortunate.
A lot of the time I do most of my own work. I'm on the road by myself. My dad's back there working on my bike. I crashed it first thing this morning. Takes a little of the pressure off and the tension.
The groundbreaking performance at the Gravity Games, Travis Pastrana, along with Mike Metzger, getting inverted during Freestyle Motocross Prelims.
Carey Hart is a hero of almost everyone that's in the industry just because he didn't know what was going to happen. He never tried over foam, he never tried into the water, he just flipped.
Second gear, 30 feet up, land a flat. Guy's a wild man. Bob Cole, I think, was probably the first guy to do a backflip on a motorcycle. I remember seeing him, like, while I was growing up, being a little kid, seeing him do backflips on a CR80.
A guy named Caleb Wyatt, he went out and he tried into a mulch pile. And they tried into a manure pile because the mulch hurt too bad. Well, he dove straight in a manure pile about 10 times with the bike on top of him, and he finally got it down. And I think without him, not too many other guys would have even have thought about it. It would have been just something that Carey Hart did to this point.
Before Caleb actually landed it, I was talking to him a lot about it, and I don't know, it just finally set into my head, you know, this can be done.
Once I heard Metzger was trying it, I'm like, well, shoot, now I gotta do it. Metzger took a ramp out into the middle of the desert and just hucked himself and crashed and crashed and crashed and crashed. Nate Adams tried it, and he didn't even get close. That was the gnarliest crash I've ever seen in my entire life. Now it just shows you what can go wrong if you don't have everything exactly right.
You gotta have the desire to wanna do it, and you gotta be dedicated because it's something serious.
I honestly believe that if you're not doing backflip 360s, barrel rolls, and backflip no-handers next year, you're not going to be in the competition. I think it's going to be that far advanced from where it is now. And you know, to see a backflip is amazing, but after you see it 5 or 6 times, you're going, you know what? People can do more, and I think that's really where it's going.
You're midway through an explosive freestyle motocross finals, and it's interesting when you consider the progression that's been thrown down the past 2 days on this dirt course behind us. It's no wonder why this sport has garnered so much respect from its fan base, and especially from other gravity athletes.
Well, you know what? There are 2 athletes that are pulling away from the rest of the pack, and of course I'm talking about Mike Metzger and Travis Pastrana. What are they going to do to top their top runs, their first runs? It remains to be seen here in the second.
That's right. Remember, it is the best run of 2, the second run's coming up. High above Cleveland here at the 2002 Gravity Games. In the midst of the freestyle motocross finals, let's go down to Rachel Perry.
Hey, thanks, Pat. You know, there's been a lot of rumors flying around Cleveland this past week, and it's all kind of been on the down low, but it's getting a little more intense right now. Word up on the deck is that Travis Pastrana is going to ride his bike up the start ramp and launch it into Lake Erie, but that's probably only if he locks up the gold prior to his final run.
You know, that would be typical Travis Pastrana flair. I mean, we saw it at the X Games in San Francisco. He got fined heavily for that one. Actually went into San Francisco Bay, but I don't know. How do you improve upon what he's already done here today?
Well, you better think about that heavily because that takeoff is just a wedge. The starting is just a wedge ramp, and that's over like 60 feet, so.
Well, on course right now, a rider who has yet to ever win a Gravity Games medal, Drake McElroy, currently sitting in 3rd place. Probably right now looking to widen that gap. Remember, the best run counts here in the Freestyle Motocross Finals.
And he's following the formula from his first run, stringing together his tricks right now.
You know, as you pointed out earlier, variety so key when it comes to Freestyle Motocross. The judges looking for variety, that creativity with the line, and definitely the difficulty. You add flips now into the mix, and it becomes a whole nother game. And Drake, unfortunately, doesn't have the flip, but he does have so many tricks in his arsenal.
And you can see how he gets through the corners, not as clean as Kenny Bartram or Travis Pastrana. Takes a little bit more time. Thus isn't able to get as many tricks as those guys are.
McElroy started riding back in 1983. Actually came onto the scene, the Freestyle Motocross scene, via the Vans Triple Crown series, was an alternate. And finally, in the past year and a half, has started to make a serious name for himself in this sport. But as I was pointing out, Ken, he doesn't have the backflip, so it puts him in competition with a couple other riders outside of Travis and Mike Metzger, mainly Kenny Bartram. They have this funny thing going. Drake says, I don't really care about beating you, Kenny, as long as I make you sweat it out in the finals. And right now, he's in good position to do just that. Currently sitting in 3rd, but remember, it is the best run that counts. Right now, just trying to widen the gap. And that is going to do it for the 2nd run from Drake McElroy.
Here's a look at some other riders who made it to the FMX finals at the Gravity Games. First up was Ronnie Feist. And judging by his riding, you can see why they call this guy Kung Fu Feist. And out of Shingle Springs, California was Jake the Jailer Wyndham. Would you believe this guy's a correctional officer? It's true. And finally, we have Doug Parsons. This is Doug's first ever Gravity Games final. And you can see Doug is a master of extending his tricks.
Drake McElroy's 2nd run, an improvement, and now he sits in bronze medal contention. Up next, Kenny Bartram. And a lot of talk circulating about his practicing the backflip with Travis Pastrana.
Kenny Bartram. And this is actually taking place down in Maryland at Travis's house. He's got a warehouse, as you can see. That's where we're in. Third, yep. And a foam pit, and you can see how the guys practice right now.
Dog. Quite a contrast to how Mike Metzger learned it out in the desert. I mean, very methodical with the foam.
Definitely, and then they take it out to a mulch pile, chopped up. Look at this.
How you feeling?
Come on, come on, come on.
Commit!
So, will we see that here today? It's his last chance to pull it out.
Well, if he wants to get that podium position, it's going to take either a fantastic run to beat Drake McElroy or a backflip.
Currently in 4th place, Kenny Bartram has a lot of making up to do. His highest score so far today was a 78.5, quite a ways down compared to Drake's 85. Just to even break into the bronze medal position.
Well, he can do it just on his normal riding alone. I wouldn't say normal riding, but I'd say just in typical Kenny Bartram style. He has that within his grasp. And once again, we've brought the hoedown to Cleveland. Kenny Bartram always bringing the latest and hottest trends in country music. I prefer the Dixie Chicks, but hey.
The boot scoot has invaded Cleveland. Sneaking in that hip transfer.
Right, but actually get something done. Some of the other guys went in there but didn't actually do anything. There you saw him do a nice stalefish. And look at the whip. One of the older tricks, but so impressive nonetheless.
Kenny, one of the best whips out there. Usually,
here's where he had a problem before. He gets back on. He doesn't hold as long as he did.
Just those tight, short technical landings says so much for these riders' reaction time.
And Kenny has already bested his first run as far as crash. Look at this, a nothing can to Saran wrap. And that's what he made famous.
Does the Ronnie, but lands in that bar grab position.
And the rock solid, he had trouble here too, but he makes it. And with a rollback.
The rock solid, his favorite trick.
We did not see a backflip, however, but he has not left the course. I think that's going to do it. He's throwing away his goggles, Pat. No backflip from Kenny Bartram, but still a great run out of him.
Such variety, consistency.
Absolutely, Pat. You can see him here, gets the double grab, Indian air, and looks over at the crowd in the process. Kenny, along with the guys like Ronnie, Renner, he really plays to the crowd as well. And look, there is the combo move. The nothing can to Saran wrap on the way back in. And makes it through the corner, no problem.
He needs to beat an 85 to capture at least the bronze medal, and he does in 86. Bartram, the bronze medalist. But yet to be decided, the silver and gold. Will it be Mike Metzger or Travis Pastrana? Welcome back, everyone, to a stellar day here in Cleveland, Ohio at the 2002 Gravity Game. It is the Freestyle Motocross Finals. So it's come down to two riders, Mike Metzger or Travis Pastrana. Metzger already has secured the silver medal. The question is, can he step up and surpass Travis Pastrana, who currently sits in gold medal position? He needs to better a 96 to do so. Here we go, his last chance.
They're going to wonder to see what kind of variations he throws out on his backflips.
And much like Travis, Metzger has so many tricks that he can dig into. Here we go. Metzger pulling out the flip again on his second run, but look.
Did you hear the throttle?
Whiskey throttle and landed so far out in the flats on that. That thing was way more elevated than any other backflip that we've seen.
And there you can see him throwing it down a little old school, at least old school for FMX, heel clicker. One of the first FMX tricks to come out in '98.
It was a trick actually he showcased. It was the first ever freestyle motocross trick on a mainstream motocross publication.
And there's a Saran to Saran. Another combo move.
Point now to the flip. Kicker again.
Oh!
Metzger!
Tweaking the bars, getting a tabletop backflip in there. How is he able to move that bike around? Perhaps it's like Travis said, we will see 360 backflips. That's so amazing.
Well, from anyone, you would expect to see it from the Corleone of freestyle motocross. They call him the Godfather, and with good reason. And I'll tell you what, it's exciting to be at this phase, as a spectator and watch them, in the laboratory right now.
That's exactly where we are. It's their course has become some kind of proving ground. It's like Area 51 out here, except everyone's allowed to watch. Yeah! Landed Annie Ugly. Oh!
And loses the horse. Metzger landed Annie Oakley, and that is going to do it for Mike Metzger.
Just think, Mike Metzger was spending his nights in a tent on the front lawn at Gravity Games right before you walk into the Festival Village, and every morning he was woken up by sprinklers. And now, just to be at this level right here with all these people screaming for what he had just done.
And looking back to 2000 Gravity when he kind of imploded at the end, he didn't do it here, but it was that fall that had a compression fracture of his L2 vertebrae, fractured both of his heels, and he's been kind of on this slow comeback. And he has definitely gotten to the point where he was talking about being, it is a dream of his to see this sport in the Olympics. And if we continue to see progression like this, it's exactly what we're going to see.
And that's typical Mike Metzger. Yeah, but he is more refined these days. Absolutely, Pat. You can see he's really been working on it. He's come back to his riding. Actually, he left for a while. He left motocross, was actually doing some racing, and here you can see him refining his backflip skills. Got crooked. You saw the handlebars turn there. Watch his landing. Gets a little crooked, but it was a tabletop attempt. Just throwing a little more style in the backflip. And then landing side saddle, the Annie Oakley with one hand here, grabbing the seat. Metzger is back in a big way.
And right now, Mike Metzger needs a 96 if it's going to be Gravity Gold. And a 92, it's decided. Travis Pastrana, yet again, capturing a Gravity Games gold medal. Silver medal to Metzger. With the medal set, well, the rumors ring true. Will Travis Pastrana take his bike into Lake Erie? We'll find out with his final run. Back to Cleveland for the Freestyle Motocross Finals. Our last rider, Travis Pastrana, was planning to use this. This is the entrance ramp into the course, but he was planning to use it as an exit ramp to launch into the waters of Lake Erie. But the lovely Cleveland police have come out in full scuba regalia. And earlier, this was Travis's reaction.
Look, he's waiting, dude.
Hey, it would have been fun.
The guy in the bottom.
Check out the police boat.
The guy driving and the guy in the bottom, they're your biggest fans at the roller skates. And others, the guy on the top is just like, I don't care.
Yeah, open the gates.
The guys underneath are begging for it. Guaranteed no. Like, we love them.
No go. $500,000. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Even as successful as Travis is, I don't think anyone wants to be a slap with a fine that big.
Plus, no medal.
And what's so funny is he's actually moping around like he's really bummed.
Yeah. Travis Pastrana. Well, we won't see him jumping into the water, but will we see a no-handed backflip? He continues to surprise us every time he takes to the course. So this is a glory run. The gold medal decided, and Travis Pastrana is still unbeatable in the sport of freestyle motocross.
Yeah, I got to tell you, he came out to Woodward Camp and we actually rode motocross together, and I said jokingly, hey Travis, let's race. So he's like, okay. So he lets me go out about 500 feet in front of him, and then look at this. Travis does a wheelie right into a backflip. Ridiculous, but that's the kind of improvisation that happened when we were racing. He reaches over and grabs my front brake while riding. It was just ridiculous.
There's a flip, one-handed. Still toying with the no-handed backflip. You mentioned racing in Travis. He actually won the AMA National Amateur Championships in the 125cc and the 250cc A classes. He is an amazing racer in his own right. And the backflips continue to be unleashed. Look at him. Maybe a can-can backflip?
Yeah. Well, I know when you do a no-handed backflip, you need to get those bars locked on your thighs so you can take off your hands. And you can see him right there trying, and you see how he's getting up on the front end of the bike as he flips. He needs a little extra motivation. Playing to the crowd, wants to hear them. He needs the help to get over this fear.
Tentative, but close.
He takes off one, then the other, but not at the same time. It will not officially be a no-handed backflip.
No, one-handed on that. And once again, we are bearing witness to the laboratory unfolding here at the Gravity Games. Back in 2000, when Carey Hart exploded on his backflip attempt, never did we think we'd be seeing this amount of progression and backflips.
It's not going to happen, however. No-handed backflip for Travis Pastrana in 2002. Well, at least it gives us something to look forward to next year.
And that's going to do it.
He wants to land that thing.
A very stoked Mike Metzger. He is the 2002 Gravity Games silver medalist and the gold medalist, of course, Travis Pastrana. His fourth gold medal. I don't think he knows any other color of medal at Gravity. You know, this being his third medal in the individual back in '99, the team event. He won the gold with Kenny Bartram. They haven't had that event since, but what an athlete.
Oh, well, certainly, and the reason he knows no other color is because of what he brings to the table. Look at this. He had a one-handed backflip, a no-footed backflip. He was going for a no-handed backflip. It did not work. Look at that. Actually did a no-footed backflip to one-hander. Travis Pastrana certainly deserves all the accolades.
So here's a look at our final standings right now. Robbie is with our gold medalist, Travis Pastrana.
Well, Travis, the crowd loved you again. Another gold medal. Congratulations, bud.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Metz and I, they scored in the backflip really high, but definitely wasn't complaining on it and put together a pretty good run. Crowd's going nuts, I'll tell you.
It had to be fun for you to know that you already took that gold medal before your second run. You got to play around a little bit.
That was definitely, we had a really cool thing planned, but they said $500,000 fine and shipped to jail, so maybe next year.
What do you mean you had something planned?
Well, that's why the second run was a little lackluster. I was going to jump into the water again, flip off of this. Would have been about 90 feet in the air, but oh well, I'm stoked. I won.
So what about the drama between you and Metz? I said it was a battle of the backflips this weekend. Is there any tension between you?
No, Metz has been my hero, dude. That guy, I mean, he came over to my house when I was 12. He pretty much inspired me to start freestyle riding. And then Bartram put together a run that was just so sick. You know, it's a shame that it was little, you know, the backflip, although Kenny can do it, he chickened out here. But the backflip it took all my practice. So, you know, it's kind of a close call, but it's a great event, and I can't ask for anything more.
Well, congratulations, four-time gold medalist. Travis, you've got 3 in individual and 1 in team. This man's awesome.
Couldn't agree more, Robbie. Travis Pastrana, unbeatable in freestyle motocross. Performance of the week goes to Travis Pastrana.
can. The kid is fearless.
FMX Moto Challenge, where riders competed in 3 individual freestyle disciplines, all vying for an overall title. First up was the whip contest. Judges looking for the flattest whip. Looking back now on Ronnie Feist, his second attempt at the whip.
Well, Ronnie, mostly known for his kung fu variations, was able to get the bike somewhat turned upside down, but needed a little bit more finesse.
Ronnie Feist score, a 78.5. And then there was the punk-inspired Doug Parsons from Riverside, California, known for his whipping ability.
Well, here's a man who takes things to the ultimate level, and he certainly was able to do it right here, getting the bike almost completely upside down. Both whips were good. Here's the first one. You can see that back end come right around. Gonna be a tough one to beat, but he certainly does do that because, Pat, he had a second whip in there. It was a bit better than the first.
Parsons' score on the whip aspect of the competition would end up being an 85.5. Next up would be the artistic and versatile Drake McElroy.
And Drake has his own original style with the whip. Watch his top foot. Take a look at it. It's actually a one-footed whip as he brings it all the way around. Real nice style on that one. And he brought us a second one also. Not bad for a kid from Fernley, Nevada. He used to work at a veterinarian feeding the animals to make ends meet.
So Drake McElroy, a 79.5 on the first of 3 disciplines. Then Travis Pastrana took a very unorthodox approach on his first whip attempt.
And Travis Pastrana, believe it or not known for his whips. He actually has a hard time with them, but he managed to squeak one decent one out there. And here is the better of the two. You can see him. Doesn't have the smoothest style with the whip, but he gets the job done.
And a surprising 84.5 would be Travis's score. So here's a look at the standings following the whip aspect of the FMX Moto Challenge. Up top, Doug Parsons. But next, it was going to be the best trick competition. And Dane Kennard would start things out, the Australian rider.
And the key here is link your tricks together. The more tricks you do in one air, the better your score. And he was able to do that with the Tsunami, the Superman on the way back in. And here, as we look back, you'll keep your eyes on him. No-footed running man can to heel clicker on the way back down. And then look at the extension as he gets that tsunami totally straight up and down on his bike, and he just lets his feet kind of fall back on that bike.
Dane Kennard's score would end up being an 81.5 on the best trick aspect. And then there was Kenny Bartram, the cowboy.
And Kenny Bartram's a big name in this sport, has some serious heritage. His grandmother was a motor maid and his uncle was Guy Cooper, and he too is a master at the combinations. He did a double rock solid and was able to pull himself back on his bike safely.
And Kenny's score would be an 80.5 on the best trick aspect. And then Travis Pastrana. No surprise what Travis would try.
Well, I'm glad he tried a backflip and not a 360 flip, as he mentioned earlier this year. I'll tell you what, he didn't just do the backflip, he did a nice tsunami as well. But let's look at that backflip again. I can look at these all day. This time he decided, he did it over the step up. You see him do a little check with the brake there. And here, the tsunami, again, Travis Pastrana, really strong competitor.
And Travis Pastrana's score would be an 86. And the results after the best trick, Travis Pastrana taking it, Dane Kennard in second and Kenny Bartram in third. It was the FMX Moto Challenge, where riders competed in 3 individual freestyle disciplines, all vying for an overall title. The last discipline would be the step-up competition. Travis Pastrana up first, leading the overall with a second in the whip and a first in the best trick. And Travis easily clearing the height of 26 feet.
And watch him as he hits his brake to flatten his bike out, levels it out, easily clears it by about 4 feet.
So then the bar would be raised up to the 29-foot mark.
Don't say take the money. I want to ride my bike. You're exactly right, Mike.
Now it's a very difficult thing to get a bike that weighs 225 pounds up and over, and you have to level that bike out. Unfortunately, Travis had some problems.
And Pastrana would go down on the 29-foot attempt.
And once again, watch him. He looks hesitant as he gets the bike. He doesn't know if he wants to get off or should he try and save it, but you can just see how tremendous the force was on that body.
Unfortunately for Travis, taking all the impact on his right knee. And Travis would leave the course following that attempt on the 29-foot mark. So the bar was raised yet even higher for Tommy Clowers, attempting 32 feet. Now shifting from the bar to tape due to all the missed attempts.
And Tommy Clowers has a gold medal from the step up at the X Games, but it just goes to show you how difficult it is here at Gravity.
And then there was Ronnie Feist. He was in the running for the overall with a 4th in the whip and the 5th in the best trick aspect of the FMX Moto Challenge. And Feist would hit the tape as well.
He also would suffer a similar fate as Travis Pastrana, not able to get the bike back level. Very dangerous move. However, the bike took most of the force.
And Kenny Bartram, he finished 3rd in best trick, trying to clear 32, and he did.
And you can see here again, he hits the tape, but it does not break, so that counts. He makes it up and over.
So Bartram would win the step-up aspect of the FMX Moto Challenge, and he would finish 4th in the overall. Travis Pastrana taking the win at the first ever FMX Moto Challenge at Gravity. After the Freestyle Motocross Challenge, we went to Travis Pastrana's home to get an update on his condition.
I don't know what I was thinking. I cleared the bar by like 5 feet. Plenty of room, but was just kind of going for broke, and I don't know why, but it turned out pretty ugly. Ended up landing and popped my knee out of socket, and tore the ACL, tore the LCL, bucket handle meniscus, the cartilage, and it was pretty ugly. But they popped it back in place, and I got up. I tried to get up. I'm like, man, I feel good. Let me back in the competition. But then I realized everything else was messed up, and the dislocation wasn't the only problem.
There you go. You got the knees, a little jello. Cut,
Really, it's a 3 to 4 month recovery. Generally, if you don't do any exercise or try to recover your knees, you'll be about 6 months. And if you put all your time and effort, you can be about 3.5. So I'm looking about 3.5 hopefully, and get back on the bike and just go for broke again.